Brent Faiyaz's beats have a kind of nostalgia that's hard to ignore. They feel warm, soulful, and emotional, with a lot of that early 2000s R&B DNA still baked into the production. But at the same time, they never sound dated. And when you really break it down, the blueprint behind that feeling comes down to a few specific production decisions. So I made an original beat inspired by that sound, and today I'm gonna break down why Brent Faiyaz's beats are so nostalgic. Let's get into it.
How much I'ma spend profiling? She come in and compliment my closet. Fuck her on the floor like I don't give a fuck about it.
One of the first things that stands out in Clouded is how soulful it feels. The piano has that warm, emotional tone that instantly gives the beat a nostalgic feel. So I started mine with these chords. A big part of why this progression feels so soulful is that I'm not just staying inside the natural minor scale. For example, this chord is based around C, even though I'm in C sharp minor. That kind of color is a huge part of Brent's sound. Another reason it works so well is the voice leading. A lot of the notes are only moving by small amounts, so even when the chords get more colorful, the progression still feels smooth and connected. There's also a chord change later on that really takes the beat to the next level, so definitely stay tuned for that. And then at the end, instead of introducing a new chord, I'm really just strumming out the final chord. That gives the progression a natural transition. Another big part of Brent's sound is the guitar and bass. You hear them both all over his music, and they add a lot to that warm, soulful feeling. So I added this guitar from Omnisphere and this bass from My Bank, which has more of that live bass feel. The guitar here is really just a strummed version of the original chord progression, which helps reinforce the harmony without adding too much. To push the emotion even further, I added these vocals and strings from Splice. The vocals and strings add a lot more soul, and they help lift the harmony in a really smooth way. And to fill it out a little more, I also added this percussion loop, snaps, and vinyl texture. Textures like this all the time in Brent's music, and they add movement and character without taking away from the main melody. I also added some effects on the melody master bus to make everything feel a little more vintage. That helps glue the melodies together and push the beat even further into that warm, nostalgic feel. Before I move on to the drums, if you like the synth sounds I've used so far, they're all from my 2099 analog lab bank. The link is in the description. Now for the drums, I wanted to lean into that early 2000s bounce, so I used Timbaland style drums.
I know I've been away. I'm just trying to get my paper straight, girl.
Been Away is a great Brent reference for that pocket. That song samples Ain't Nothing But a Bee Party, and the bounce also feels really inspired by classic Timbaland records like One in a Million.
Got up in the morning, smelling reefer.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me.
So I built my drums around that same kind of bounce. I'm at 135 BPM, and this tempo range is perfect for those classic Timbaland style half-step hi-hat and snare patterns. That kind of bounce and sound selection is a huge part of what gives the beat that nostalgic feel. Another thing you hear in Brent's production a lot are chord changes. I teased this earlier, and this is where the beat really levels up. takes it to another level. Changing just one chord shifts the whole feeling of the beat and adds even more soul. A big reason it works so well is because instead of landing on C sharp, I start on A sharp, which is outside of the key. That gives the chord change more color, more tension, and more emotion. And that's a big part of what separates his sound from a lot of modern music that leans more heavily on 8-bar loops. So when you really break Brent's sound down, the nostalgia comes from a few key things: soulful chord choices, live instrumentation, vintage effects processing, and those early 2000s inspired drums. That combination is a huge part of what makes his production feel warm, familiar, and timeless. That's pretty much it for this one. If you like the synths that I used in this video, they're all from my 2099 analog lab bank, so the link is in the description if you want to check it out. Let me know in the comments what I should break down next. Make sure you check out my other videos if you enjoyed this one, and subscribe if you want to see more. But besides that, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.